Hey y'all, I'm an I-78 and I'm back with my next review of Match Me Abroad. This is season 1, episode 6. And this episode features Harold's second date. We also have a new cast member. We'll get into that. We also have feedback for Susan from her last date with Carlos. And we have my thoughts on Stanika's dating dilemma. But let's go ahead and get into what happened. So this for me has been one of the most now I'm gonna say this has been for me the most enjoyable episode. This episode actually begins with Harold on his second date. His second date is with a woman named Michaela. Michaela is more his what me and Katarina feel like is more his speed. Um, I don't think she's on the spectrum, but she's what she's a self-defined nerd. She, likes history, she likes to learn, she likes Star Trek, things that make you use some brain cells. So, I mean, hey, I'm all for it. So they meet and actually go on a tour of an old water treatment plant. I know that might not sound interesting to y'all, but I mean, you're in another country and you have an opportunity to see some, old history and you'll see the progression from what was to what is now. So, I mean, if I went to Prague, I probably would go on the tour and see what's going on. So, um, Harold gets there and um meets Michaela. Everything, is good. They're able to have a conversation. He got more conversation out of Michaela in the first 5 minutes that he got out of Teresa's ass the whole date, y'all. I'm just gonna give it to you real. That's what happened. The 5 minutes. They literally standing at the gate where you go into the facility to get ready to go on a tour. And he had more conversation with this woman here than he had with this other bride the entire date. And they literally was in a paddle boat and went around a whole lake. I'm telling you, like when you are able to engage in conversation, even with the language barrier, it it makes all the difference. And it actually got to a point where there really wasn't a language barrier at all. So I was happy for Harold. There's some what's the word I'm looking for? Not validation, but acknowledgement. Some interest. That's the word I'm looking for. Just interest. A little bit of interest can do a lot. Like for all you people out here, that's socially awkward and socially deficient, and you don't know either refuse to start up a conversation or don't know how. Like literally, just a few words here and there can make all the difference between you actually being able to see if there's a connection or you just assuming there's no connection and you continue on with the same nonsense that you've been working with. So back to Harold, y'all. So, they go in. It's actually just the two of them on this tour. So it's the two of them and then it's the tour guide. And, she's, giving them a rundown of, how things used to work. And come to find out, y'all, Harold is in, what did he say? He's in radiation protection. Okay. He was like, yeah, so this right up my alley. So then Michaela was like, well, wait a minute. You into this? Let me ask you some questions. She starts asking questions about how this would have worked back in the time when it was being used. And these actually questions Harold could answer. Y'all, I'm telling you, women, like for real. Even if you give less than a damn, if giving a damn would be an improvement, at least acting like you do will get you so far. I'm here to tell you, just and I mean, and yeah, it will get you, it will get you far. Because I know myself, I've been in situations where, like, the particular subject matter at the time, I was like, I ain't feeling none of this. But just keep the conversation going and drive it in a different direction. and ended up in, you know what I'm saying, subject matter that was my, my domain, that was my expertise. I was like, hey, well, let's do this. And he over here like, wait a minute, you know how to talk? I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. So, ladies, just a little bit of interest, couple few little words in the will get you far. So, um, that went on. There's actually a point in the tour where there is an underground boat ride. So it's kind of giving you the perspective of how the water would flow if this was actually a working treatment plant. So they're on the little boat, and they're underground, so it's minimal light. And yeah, it gets to a point where Harold, actually puts his arm around her, and she's like, oh, okay, hey, yeah, all right, I'm with this. And Harold was like, hey, yeah, this is the move. But see, now this for me goes back to, even with people who not on the spectrum, if you don't put yourselves in situations to be able to try things like this, then don't come back and say, well, I can't find nobody now, she don't want to let me do this, or he don't want to do that, or this and that and the woo, where you're not putting yourself in positions to see what you like, what you don't like, what's acceptable for you, what's not acceptable, so forth and so on. Like, you got to, you can't just go off what you see on TV. You got to do what's good for you. Because again, I would have gone on the tour, but I know a lot of y'all wouldn't. Oh, that's boring. Ain't nobody there. Ain't no opportunity to be seen. It's not about being seen by everybody. It's about being seen with the person you with, the person you trying to get to know, whoever you's on a date with. Like that. That's what it's about. Worry about being seen with them. So what is it? You want to be seen by 1,000 people that you never gonna come in contact with again, or if you do, it's on some terms that you're not good with, or you want to be seen by this one person that could potentially be with you for the rest of your life. Like, you got to make a decision. So I was happy to see that Harold was, on a date, and he took Katarina's advice, and he's, with somebody who's more on his speed, but at the same time he's still getting most of the things that he said he wanted in the first place. So I'm gonna come back to Harold in a minute. So then we have, well, after Harold, Stanika. Let's get into her dilemma, y'all, because Stanika's gonna be Stanika gonna be Stanika. That's all I'm gonna say. Stanika sneaking. So, after all the so-called, she turned it into drama with Salah. I'm sorry, but I'm sticking with that. That's my square. I'm gonna stand on it, and that's it. That's just it. So it comes on with her and Nina, having breakfast, and reviewing and all that before they get ready to go back to Marrakesh. So Stanika comes on, and Nina was like, so, how was your night? She was like, girl, yeah, wine had to get me through that. I need y'all to stop with the substances. Can we not just get out a pen and a piece of paper, and write down some things, instead of we got to get some wine, we got to get some Hennessy, we got to get some weed, we got to get some pills, we got to get some Xanax, we got to get some Valium, we got to get all this different stuff that ain't helping you get to the root of what the issue is. So she gets up on here with Nina and was like, I mean, we wasn't a match, and he did this, and his whole vibe, and he got anger issues, and he this and he that. And he goes, Nina, instead of being, I'm just gonna say it, instead of being worth a damn, she goes along with everything what Stanika talk about. Oh, I'm sorry, I put you in that situation, and I didn't know he was like that, and that's not what he presented to me. And like, you ain't asked this broad no real questions about what happened. None. What was said? Like, what happened after what happened after this point? Because I'd have been like, okay, so from the time the parents left and he came back in and y'all left, what happened? Like, I ain't got to none of that. None at all. So instead of her going that route and getting some news she can use, she just gonna go along with what Stanika talking about. Then Stanika confessed that while the date's going on with Salah, she texted Nordine. So if you texting Nordine while you supposed to be on the date with Salah, then how much effort and consideration did you really give him in the first place? Now, didn't they have a conversation about, okay, you was feeling Nordine, okay, that's cool, but you only seen him one time. You are here for a process. You need to see what else is out here. That was the whole conversation to what was it? Marie, where somewhere something like that. To where they was going in it was the whole conversation. So I'm confused on this. We texted Nordine. So she was like, "Look, I'm just saying, like, I understand, you feeling Nordine and this and that, but we got work to do." And she was like, "Well, I don't think I really need no other dates, and I don't want no more dates. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no more of your dates. You done set me up. Woo 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 woo. I'ma kick it with Nordine." Okay, well, this is my thing right here again, because for me, y'all, Nordine was not accurate representation of what's popping in Morocco as far as how the men operate. So she might be setting herself up to get let down anyway. And two, I know you ain't paid all that money to meet no one person. The first person you meet, that's who you rocking with. But it was something else that she said that was real interesting to me. She said that her date with Salah was the second date she had ever been on. So if that was the second date you ever been on, how did you come to the conclusion that all saying American men, especially black American men, is players and users and they don't want nothing serious and all of this if you've never been on a date with any of them to find this out? That I got questions because that just don't make sense to me. You've never been on a date, you've never had a boyfriend, but you've made this g- generic, just generalization about men in America, especially black men. Because my thing is, we're gonna be for real. You living in Jackson, Mississippi, you ain't really been around no other kind of men but the brothers. So if you wasn't doing no dating, how you know they don't want you, Stanika? How you know you're not the problem? I just some food for thought. Just something for you to put down on that pad I told you to go get a few minutes ago. Just hey, I got questions. No dates until you spend all this money to get to Morocco, but you got all this experience with these men. Okay, interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. So that supposedly is her dilemma. She want Nordine, but I ain't heard nothing about Nordine wanting her. Him texting her, and he ain't texting too much. He ain't texting. You know what I'm saying? He texting just enough. He giving it just enough for the city. That's what we doing. Okay. I'm just saying because I'm just, in my personal experience with men that I've dealt with in the past. Like in the beginning, it be it be. I'm old, y'all. So we was having straight phone conversations. It was plenty of conversing taking place. I'm talking about that where you be in the bed and you be talking and you fall asleep and you wake up and you start talking again and you fall asleep and you wake up and you start talking again. Like a couple years back, I had to do literally this grown man would call me when he woke up and I would literally talk to him literally almost 80% of his day. I would literally talk to him waking up, talk to him in the shower, talk to him getting dressed, talk to him on his way to work. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what was going on at work, I'll be talking to him then. I'll be talking to him, sitting in traffic on the way home. I'll be talking to him. I would call when I got out of class and I'll be on my way home. Like lit conversation. So I'm just confused. If none of this is going on, how do you have all these generalizations about American men? Just a question. So hopefully at some point she'll be able to explain this nonsense because right now it ain't it. But that as if that wasn't enough, that was about all we got from Stanika in this episode. Cause yeah, she always leave you with more questions than answers, y'all. And I'm just saying, for her to be the only sister on here, she is not giving us a good representation. Because I operate in a much different manner. But anyway, so let's see, we got Harold. I'm gonna come back to him. We got Stanika. We actually have a new cast member this week, y'all. Chad. Chad is from Pleasant View, Tennessee. Chad is 38 years old. And if you look up kind hearted redneck in the dictionary, that's what you're gonna get. Chad's picture is gonna be sitting there. Chad is Chad. That's all I can say. Chad. Chad goes to work. So apparently, whatever Chad, he said he was a driver. Um, Chad must be getting some bank. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause Chad, you know what I'm saying, ain't looking like he's struggling for no meals, none of that. Chad enjoys cutting grass, y'all. Chad cut grass. Chad mind his business. Chad cut grass and go to work and take care of his mama next door and mind his business. So Chad sitting on 8 acres. Chad cutting grass. Chad is having the best time. Chad got a couple dogs. Chad doing the thing. So Chad has been engaged 3 times, y'all. I'm gonna say that one more time. Chad has been engaged 3 times. So according to Chad, two of these bros cheated on him. I don't know, what he didn't really give us any um specifics. He just said, well, no, he did give us a little bit of specifics. One was a somewhat long distance relationship. So, people always want to try to use that as an excuse not to have any damn coochie control. Oh Lord. And the second one, he said apparently she went to the bar and couldn't keep her drawers together. So that was the end of that. The third one, he didn't really say what happened. So Chad has secured the services of Juan in Colombia to find him a mate. He has decided he wants a Colombian woman because of what Colombian women that he has worked with in the past. He said they're always pleasant, they always have a smile on their face, and that's what he's looking for. Now, again, that ain't really nothing to be basing, the type of person you want to spend the rest of your life with on. But for these people, that seems to be enough. So Chad's going over to Colombia to see about getting him a woman. Now, I don't. mm, I don't know how this is gonna work. Cause my thing is with these people who go to these foreign lands to find these folks, these people have television, these people have internet, these people have Instagram, these people got Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat and WhatsApp, just like we have over here. So a lot of them have a distorted view of what's happening in America. A lot of them think all of America is looking like Vegas or LA or New York or say something like that. So you going from saying Medellin or saying Boca Real, you know you over there in Colombia, which is like the hot spots, and you coming back to Pleasant View, Tennessee. That could be culture shock. So I don't understand why these people don't really prepare or take any of that into account when they wooing these folks. I guess they figure just being in America is gonna be enough. So we're gonna see with Chad how that's gonna work. Is he gonna get him the real, or he just gonna be like, look, come on over here to America and we gonna kick it. And then they get over here and be like, what the hell? I'm just saying. So Chad, in this episode, Chad actually gets to Colombia. Chad, now I'm gonna say this right here, and more people need to take a page out of Chad's book. Soon as Chad touched down, after Chad picked up his bags, his first stop was to the restroom to get fresh because the way Juan had it set up is his first date actually picked him up at the airport. He was like, because you have a tendency from me talking to you, you have a tendency to overthink, and I don't want you to do that. So you gonna hit the ground running. So Chad was like, yeah, I'm not showing up to the set stinking. I'm gonna go to the, what I'm saying, change, it took a little, little wash up, changed his shirt, all of that, was ready to roll. So Chad, ready to roll, goes out, meets Maria, his date, and he he was. I mean, you could tell he was nervous, but I mean, he wasn't stumbling and bumbling and clumsy all over himself or nothing like that. So I mean, it actually ends with them, in the car on the way to get something to eat, and they're kind of having just general conversation. Where are you from in America? What do you like to do? So forth and so on. So hopefully in this next episode, we can get some more and see what's going on with Chad, and hopefully during this ride he doesn't overthink the situation and fuck it up, for lack of a better term, y'all. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. So we'll see. So got Chad. Chad was cool, no problem. Y'all, this damn Susan. Susan's the problem. Susan, as we discussed in our last review, had her date with Carlos. Carlos is cool, but she wants to be on this. He's too young and he wants to be an actor, and that's not something somebody at 35 years old need to be doing. So she wants to sit and judge. So Juan coming over to talk about what went on with the date. So she got in her mind again. It's not her. Susan ain't could never be the problem. Oh no, not. Juan's not listening. He not giving me what I want. He got close, but I mean I don't understand why he can't just get this together. Maybe because this dude that you think you done pay him to find you don't exist. Cause you really not clear about what you want in the first place, Susan. That might be the problem. Might be. Just just some thoughts. So Juan comes over, talk about Carlos. So he starts asking her, how was the date? She's, with the generic, it was all right. It was good. I mean, we had a lot of fun. Like what is with y'all with fun is something you're not supposed to have. I mean, you should be able to have fun, but you should also know when it's time to get to business. But if you go ahead and get the business first and get that on out the way, then you can get to having fun. I don't understand why folks can't get that together. I don't get it. Like I want to go to the beach, but I know I need to pay these bills first and then see what's left and then evaluate going to the beach. Like I want to go for like 4 days, but when I get through, I might not be able to go, but for 2 days. So you got to roll with the punches. Take care of your business, and then you can have your fun. So when you having the fun, you ain't got to be worrying about business. It just seemed real simple to me. I mean, I don't get it. So let me say this, y'all. Carlos read this heifer in his assessment, in his rundown of what went on with Juan. He read this heifer, the whole nine. First thing he told him was, yeah, she brought the dog and used the dog as the excuse to not answer questions and to leave the day early, which is exactly what I saw happening. Everybody who watched that episode, I know y'all saw that's what was going on. So when Juan tell her, yeah, what I'm saying, dude, hip to it, she looking like, I mean, what you talk about? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I did have to leave because I mean she hadn't eaten all day and all of this and all of that and woo woo. Well, you should took her ass to the damn dog babysitter of the kennel while you was out on the date and you wouldn't have none of this to worry about. But again, you took the dog to use the dog as your out when it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. This is real simple. Real simple. Ain't hard to figure out. So yeah, she's sitting up here wanting to try to be offended because she got called out. And Juan was like, "Look, I'm gonna just give it to you like this. You're not open. You think you open, and we need to get to the root of why you think you open when you're not." And here she comes back with the um. I mean, I did answer his questions. I mean, I gave him a little bit of information, but I mean, just because you say you, he was like, "Oh, I don't even want to hear all of this." He was like, "I mean, you keep talking about all this trust, but trust is a two-way street. Then we trust is a two-way street. You want him to trust you and take into account, say things you've been through and this and that and the woo. You gonna need to give him the same respect. Because again, you was already sitting in judgment because he said he wanted to be an actor. Again, because he said he wanted to be an actor does not mean he don't have his life together. He could be devoting 2 days a week to being an actor and spending 4 days working his, saying, corporate job and a day chilling. You don't know what he's doing because you didn't ask enough questions to find out. And that's what Juan told her. So, I mean, at this point, I got to rock with Juan because Juan's like, look, you ain't finna sit up here and question my credentials and my success when you the problem. So we gonna see how this work because right now, Susan, she about to get Juan a fit. And I'm just sitting in the background like, uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, let's see how this go. 'Cause Susan is not getting to the meat of the matter. She just not. She the issue. She don't want to talk about why she the issue, and we just gonna continue to have problems. And that's what it is. So that when Susan was getting addressed, that's pretty much all what happened with her because the majority of this episode was Harold. So speaking of Harold, we're gonna go back to Harold. So Harold, having a good day, and I was, saying so happy for him because he deserved, some some interaction because this is clearly something that he hasn't had during his life, and I blame his parents for that. I said that way back in episode 1, and we episode 6, and I'm sticking with that. His parents did not do the best they could as far as helping him with his social issues and him being on the spectrum. They didn't, and they can come in here right now and tell them to their face. That's what it is. So the tours ended, so they decide, to kind of hang out at the venue. They had a couple, had some drinks. He actually showed Michaela his book of drawings, and he actually excused himself to go to the restroom. And while he was in the restroom, she actually finished one of his drawings. I was like, yeah, this right here. I'm feeling them together. I'm feeling them. I'm feeling them together. Because she was like, I can't draw, and I really admire people who can. I wish that was something I could do. And then she puts her little finishing touches to her doodles to the drawing, and Harold was like, oh hell yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. He was like, look, you want to have dinner? And she was like, yeah, let's do that. So they are gonna have dinner. So hopefully that's in the next episode. I don't want y'all don't make wait too long, TLC, because I need to know what's happening. Because I'm rooting for Harold. He's my favorite because he has taken it upon himself to try to what I'm saying, um make changes and what I'm saying, um fix deficiencies in his life. And he on the spectrum, but he doing better than you so called normal people. So I'm rooting for Harold. So hopefully in this next episode we can see what's going on with this dinner because I need to see how this gonna work out. So I think I'm gonna leave this right here because, like I said, Harold's my favorite, and that was just him having a good date just made me happy. So I'm gonna leave it right here. We'll see what happens in the next episode. Y'all make sure y'all come back, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, this is Almond Eye 78. Bye.